What's up, everybody? This is Lance. I'm the host of the Health and Real Estate podcast, and I'm super excited about today's guest. This is Aaron Kaufman. He is the Chief Stakeholder Evangelist at KW. He runs a Facebook group called the Profit Share Mastermind KW that has 40,000 plus members. I highly recommend everyone join it. I'll put a link in the show notes. And he travels across the nation teaching class called the KW effect, which we will get into. But yeah, I'm super excited about this one, Aaron. So how did you get your start at KW? And then when did you make the transition from being an agent to focusing on
Sure, man.
share?
All right. So the short story is that, look, I graduated from Emory here in Atlanta, was a sociology major, was qualified for two career paths, be a social worker and make 35K the rest of my life or get into sales. And so, I went into sales kind of following the money and looking for sales jobs where I could make tons of money. And then I realized that if I don't believe in what I'm selling, if I'm not passionate about what I'm selling, it doesn't really matter how much money I can make because I'm probably going to give up before I'm successful. And so it took me, unfortunately, about 7, 8 years of bouncing around from sales job to sales job to figure out that, look, I personally need something that inspires me. Okay. That's ultimately what brought me into real estate because, Lance, in real estate, the agent is the product, right? And if you're committed to being a great agent, you operate with a high level of integrity, you've got great customer service, there's a sense of being genuine in what you're selling. I mean, Lance, when you know a buyer or seller would be lucky to work with you or your team, that's a powerful feeling. And so I joined a traditional company here in Atlanta, a local company that was quickly bought then by Coldwell Banker. And so became a Coldwell Banker agent, being told that this is going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. I now get to market and use this globally recognized brand. And like most people who were new in real estate, had no idea how real estate companies were different. Just kind of saw the commercials, the sports center stuff, the blimps flying over football games, knew what Caldwell Banker was. And so I was like, okay, this is great. And then I was lucky enough to do a deal with a great Keller Williams agent who, by the way, gave me a millionaire real estate agent book during the transaction. And she got me over to her office. And when I got over there, to drop off some documents and say, hey, I was like, holy smokes, man, the energy, the the culture of collaboration, it just blew me away. And so I just said, look, if I come to KW, all my clients and my relationships are going to follow me to KW. So I made the decision to come to KW, but I want to be very clear. When the team leader I was talking to started to talk about profit share, I already had my own sort of I heard all the myths about KW, and this is back in like 05, 03, 04. So we were ranked fifth in the US. We were this emerging company. And believe me, traditional big companies like Coldwell Banker just love to tell our story for us. And
Mhm.
so I had this sort of preconceived notion of what KW was, what profit share was. I didn't really understand it, kind of felt a little icky to me. So it was very dismissive of profit share. And look, I was lucky. I joined an incredible office in Atlanta, Georgia, which happens to be the most profitable market of KW, which is Atlanta, and in the number one region of KW for like the last 17 years, the Southeast region. I, the point I bring up here, the reason I bring that up is, Lance, I had a high level experience at Keller Williams as an agent. Okay. I was in an incredible office that bought into culture, that bought into, it was a family, a community, right? People worked together. Top agents taught classes, right? So that really was the beginning of it. And then I had a chance to join the ALC. And for those that don't know what the ALC is, it's an agent leadership council. Every office has an agent leadership council. Every region, the whole company, we are built by agents for agents. We're involved in the decision-making process. So I saw behind the curtain, and that was sort of the next sort of step in me kind of getting a better understanding of KW. And then I had a chance to go to family reunion in '05. And my life changed, Lance, when I saw Gary Keller speak for the first time in person. And I got to give a shout out to Dave Jenks. A lot of people probably don't know who Dave Jenks is, but he co-wrote the MREA book, the Shift book. He's the real grandfather of profit share, but he used to be on stage with Gary Keller, and they were talking about, hey, where KW is, where we're going. And they said two things that really stuck out to me. They said, one of the number one income producing activities that a KW associate can participate in is attracting other agents to KW. And the next thing they said is many of the leaders of our industry 5 years from now, they're not even in the business yet. And so I came back to Atlanta, and I'm not the most religious guy in the world. I call myself a agnostic Jew, okay? But I had what I would call my most religious experience is that I landed late, was laying in bed. It hit me at like 1 a.m. I jumped up out of bed and I said, this is it. This is the product that I've been looking for my entire life. And this company is about to take over this entire industry. And Gary Keller is that dude. And so I didn't really feel comfortable recruiting agents to KW. And I'll be honest, I was never a mega agent. I had many limiting beliefs back then. Um, but I took that little thought about many of the leaders of our industry 5 years from now are not in the business yet. And I decided, okay, that's going to be my mission statement. And so back in '05, I was the first person in Keller Williams to launch a recruiting website. All right. And look, most people are attracting people to KW through relationships, right? I decided I'd go new agents. And by the way, experienced agents are not applying to KW on the internet. They're coming here through relationships. So I just made this huge decision, a leap of faith. I said, you know what? This is my moment and I'm all in. And I decided to spend a tremendous amount of money. Um, Thank God for my parents back then. They were also very helpful to me to believe in a struggling real estate agent in his 30s. But I started running ads on Monster.com, Career Builder. I was posting ads on Craigslist in every city Keller Williams had an office on. And over the next, couple of years, I shattered all the records of recruiting for KW. But of course, being Aaron Kaufman, my timing could have been a little bit better because this was '05, '06, '07.
Hmm.
Just imagine coming up with your lottery ticket moment of your life, building wealth through predominantly brand new agents. You bring them all in right before the market hits the fan, right? So when the market shifted, I didn't have a plan B. So I was all in and I was just watching agents dropping out of the business, dropping out of KW, seeing profit share numbers going down. And the real story, Lance, is this. I had to get a second job. I shut my real estate business down. I was all in on profit share. I mean, I had my greatest career moment. I walked across the stage at family reunion in '05 and '06. I shook Gary Keller's hand 2 years in a row. In '08, I'll never forget this. My profit share check, January of '08, was like $83, right? And I had my you know what moment. And so I decided to fall back on something I did my whole life, which was waiting tables. So I got a job waiting tables 6 nights a week, 2 lunches, brunch on Sunday. I would take my tip money, pay off all my internet recruiting bills, and I would recruit when I wasn't waiting tables. But the great thing about my story, Lance, is that I met my beautiful 6 foot tall goddess of a wife in that restaurant. She's a professional photographer in Atlanta. She had to get a second job. We met in that restaurant. We got married in that restaurant. And, I always thought I had to become the guy to get the girl. So to meet the girl of my dreams at a low point in my life has been quite the journey and amazing. I wouldn't change a thing about the shift because if it wasn't for that shift, I never would have met my wife. But also my wife is the one that said, hey, dude, stop crossing your fingers on the 21st of the month, which profit shares paid out, once a month. She said, you better get out there and start selling houses again or figure out another way to make money. So my wife kicked me out of my comfort zone. I decided to build a class on my own that was based around all these thousands of conversations that I had. I started teaching it around Atlanta for free. Somebody said, hey, you want to come to Charleston? You want to come to Nashville? 15 years later, I've taught it over 1,000 times in person and virtually. I've taught it in every state Keller Williams has an office, almost every province in Canada that we have offices in. And I mean, a couple months ago, I was up in Nova Scotia and Newfoundland eating mussels and watching bald eagles and icebergs. But, it reminds me of another great saying at KW. It's not just about what you get, it's about who you become. And I never would have imagined 20 years ago when I made that leap of faith that I would have created a teaching business. By the way, I was terrified of speaking in public, terrified. I would build a speaking business that I would make more money teaching than I did in profit share. All right. So that's the beautiful thing, man, is that look, profit share is the big prize, obviously in a down market with new flashy objects and tech disruptors. I never could have predicted 20 years ago that this would be the state of our industry and, that KW would have some of the challenges that it's had. But look, that's the thing about profit share. It's a leap of faith. And am I where I thought I would be right now financially with profit share? No, but so many other things have come out of this. And I have complete faith that this company, which by the way, took over the industry in that last shift, is going to emerge from this shift a much stronger real estate company. And the future of my profit share and hopefully everybody's will be in a very good place moving forward. And that's kind of my story. So now, I'm the profit share driver for KW / Chief Stakeholder Evangelist, and I'm out here beating the drum. And sometimes I beat it really loud, and sometimes the tone of my message doesn't necessarily match the message that I'm trying to achieve. But sometimes you have to disrupt your own company, and so I'm kind of a disruptor within KW, but I'm a culture guy. I love KW. And, my goal is to make sure that everybody in this company has a chance to have the same experience that I've had.
Absolutely. I love your story, and you're a huge inspiration for me starting my profit share journey.
Yep.
And I love how you do kind of disrupt within KW, but you're so in culture, and just some franchises don't quite follow the culture. But I love it. You're a straight shooter. You
Yeah.
shoot from the hip. And yeah, so for those of you that don't know, because I'm actually surprised, I came from St. Louis, Missouri, Chesterfield Market Center. That's when I joined KW. And at the time, I didn't know it, but it was one of the top most profitable market centers at the time.
Yep. The
And
land of Mark King, man. Yep.
yes, Mark King, he was the team leader when I joined. And I thought all KWs were like that. But I ended up moving to California, Los Angeles area, and I was culture shocked by how out here they just kind of do their own thing. The KWs, they don't really follow the systems or models or have that culture, which which I miss, but I love the beach. Um, but yeah, so like, how would you describe like the KW culture? Because doesn't
Yeah.
KW culture and profit share they go hand in hand?
Dude, not only do they go hand in hand, profit share is the catalyst, right? You, people need to understand that, when I speak about KW, I'm an idealist, Lance, and that's gotten me in a lot of trouble. Okay. I'm an idealist. When I started 20 years ago, I also didn't know that every office is independently owned and operated and that there's only so much you can force certain franchises to do and follow models and systems. So, when I launched my system, I was recruiting all around KW. So I get a nice reminder every month of that fact when I look at my profit share statements and I say, oh God, if all these agents were in Atlanta, I'd already be retired by now. Okay. But here's the thing, right? I always speak to the model. And honestly, I teach the same class in the most profitable market centers at KW as I do the least profitable market centers at KW. And by the way, my class is 3 hours long. It's a profit share class. I talk 10 minutes about the money. Okay. It's about what it means to be a stakeholder. Okay. At KW. We have a secret weapon at this company, Lance. And that secret weapon is there's actually a real incentive for agents to work together
Mhm.
and collaborate and to care about each other. We don't just happen to have the best culture because we attracted a bunch of really nice people, okay? We are inherently different, particularly at a time when you've got these virtual rev share companies, and God bless them, man. Hey, different strokes for different folks. I mean, I don't waste my time trying to bash their models, okay? Like they do with us. But and the fact is, we've spawned them all off, of course. But here's the thing: just to make the point here, Gary Keller says it best, and maybe I'm just a Gary Keller homer. I don't know, man, but I just always find myself going back to what Gary Keller says, and he says our culture starts with profit share. Okay, Our culture starts with profit share. And people need to understand two things. One, if you participate in profit share at KW, you are not just vested in the success of the agents in your downline. No, you're also vested in the success of every agent in your downline's market centers too. Because if their market centers are not profitable, you ain't making any profit share. Okay.
Mhm.
So the reason why our culture is inherently different is that we have a true vested interest in a common goal, which is profit share, not to mention the fact that we're still the only privately held company that is trying to build technology to help save agents from an industry that's trying to turn them into low-paid door openers, okay? But the profit share is what binds us together. Here's the other point I want to make, Lance. Whether you ever participate in profit share or not at KW, and by the way, just so you all know, less than 30% of KW agents even participate in profit share. So for all the people that love to call us a pyramid scheme, 70% of us are not even participating in profit share. Last time I checked pyramid schemes, everybody has to participate and, all that great stuff. But here's the thing. Whether you participate in profit share or not is irrelevant. You are vested in the success of your fellow agents and your market center. Think about it, Lance. You've already said it, man. The more those market centers out in LA grow, the more profitable they become. My guess is the more money and resources are going to reinvest back into the agents. The better the training, the support, the office space, the better the energy and the culture of sharing is going to be, because agents are going to be galvanized by something bigger than their own real estate businesses. The more Keller Williams signs are going to be popping up in sellers' yards, the more of our agents will donate to KW Cares, participate in Red Day. So people need to understand you're a stakeholder whether you like it or not. So you might as well take more ownership of that experience at KW. And the problem that I have, Lance, is KW does many things, 10 out of 10, 12 out of 10. The one thing we don't do so well is telling our own story
Mhm.
to our own people. And now we are on the third generation of Keller Williams, Lance. My guess is 80% of KW agents and leadership have not been with us for more than 5 or 6 years. So think about it, man. If your secret weapon is culture and 80% of your people, including your local leadership, don't understand why it is inherently different, well, it's kind of hard to deliver on culture, right? And so what we find is when they're not delivering on culture, well, guess what, man? Price tends to be their value proposition. And when price is your value proposition, I guarantee you there's a better price offer right around the corner for your agents. And that's why culture is my message, because when all things are created equal, Lance, and we have amazing ownership and we have servant leaders and we have agents that buy into this, nobody can compete with Keller Williams culture and community. Okay. And what I've been trying to do for 20 years is trying to re-recruit all the people we're in business with who don't seem to understand this basic concept. All right. So
Yeah,
that's
you
that.
nailed it on the head with it. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And the culture, it's something, it's hard to explain the KW culture from the outside looking
Yep.
in.
Yep.
But I experienced it because KW was not my first brokerage, but
Sure.
KW is now my final brokerage. It's my
Right.
forever home. So when I first got into real estate, I was clueless. I was a clueless new agent. I didn't even know
Yep.
about lead generation, you know.
Same here.
Well, I was told like, oh, do open houses. Like my broker told me do open houses, but no one would train me how to do it. The broker was too busy. There was no team leader. There was no coaches or mentors. So I was asking another agent, and none of the agents wanted to teach me how to do it or let me shadow because they looked at me as competition.
Well, particularly, Lance, because the
Yeah,
industry used to be brand centric. It was about the brands, right? KW is an agent centric company, right?
exactly.
So when agents are being sold this idea that it's the brand, that is the brand of recognition, right? And
Mm,
that the agents are the brand of reputation. Well, Gary Keller flipped that. He said, no, agents are the brand of recognition. KW is the brand of reputation. But think about it, man. When there's no incentive for agents to work together and care about each other, and you're all fighting over the same brand, Why would you give your secrets to somebody that is representing the exact same brand as you? I mean, do sellers really interview multiple Coldwell Banker agents and multiple Remax agents that are marketing the same brand? No, right? So that's how we're inherently different. That's why you typically don't see the Keller Williams brand above bigger than the agent's name or their brand. Is that we don't need to spend millions of dollars a year telling everybody how great our agents are. We just have to attract the agents that value what we value and keep their customers. So sorry to go on that tangent, but I just want to make a point. It's not that these people were evil at Caldwell Banker or the company that you were at. There's just no incentive to share ideas, and you're actually directly competing with each other for the same brand, right?
Well, 100%. And I was shocked by that. I didn't know it was so competitive.
Yeah,
And then when I did go to KW, I was mind blown. I was like, "Whoa, there's
yeah.
all these agents, top agents are giving their best secrets." I was like, "What? This is crazy. This is amazing." And yeah, I absolutely loved it. So, and also to your point about KW, where it's agent centric, where the agent is the brand. So, for instance, my real estate team is Vegan Realty. We
Yeah,
couldn't do that at any other brokerage, but KW allows you to brand yourself. It's not about KW. So we're Vegan Realty powered by
I
KW.
love it. I love it. And Lance, if you think about it another way, aren't we making it easier for you to leave KW and take Vegan Realty to another company or to go be an independent, right? I mean,
Mm,
now all you got to do is change the name of the real estate company at the bottom of your marketing. But if you were at a traditional company, my guess would be that they would be trying to keep you from branding your own business because that is, first of all, why they call them dependent models. But they don't want, at a dependent brand centric model, they don't want their agents thinking independently
mhm.
because then they're going to say, holy crap, why am I at this dependent company when there's this interdependent company out there where agents work together and collaborate, right?
Definitely. Awesome. So I'm actually surprised in California, a lot of KW agents don't even know what profit share is. So how
Right.
do you simply explain what profit share is
Well, let me
without
just
getting
first say,
into all the details and
no,
numbers?
no, I get it. Well, the reason they don't understand it is that when they franchises don't value it, they don't talk about it. So here's basically the idea. At KW, a percentage of the profits of a KW market center every month go back to the agents. Okay. I'm not gonna ever be one of those people that says half the profits go back to the agents, especially after a recent change that was made. But I'll just say on average, 35 to 45% of a fairly profitable market center's profits go back to the agents, okay, who help grow the company. Now think about this for a second. What better way to grow a real estate company than to reward your agents for growing it? By the way, last time I checked, they're the ones driving your business. Okay. They're the ones with relationships. And I'm thinking maybe if they're now vested financially in the profitability of their office and the success of their fellow agents, I don't know, they might want to buy into culture more and they might want to teach a class. They might want to donate when something bad happens to one of our agents or a natural disaster hits. So the bottom line is the owners share back, that amount back every month back to their agents. Now, look, I'm the first person to say that is, profit share is exponential, meaning the more profitable a market center is, the greater percentage of the profits go back to the agents. Now, in a down market, okay, when sales are way down, and KW is, we're not a virtual company, right? We're still brick and mortar, although we have a different model than traditional companies, but we do have higher operating expenses than cloud-based companies, which has been a huge advantage for them in a down market because revenue share doesn't care about profits, right? Also not the most sustainable model, but that's a whole nother conversation. But here's my point is that we are in a down market. Okay. Profit share is down. Okay. And that's where I'm trying to really make a point here, which is our culture is more important than it's ever been, dude. I mean, Lance, the world is literally on fire right now. Okay.
Mhm.
I don't know about you. The world is on fire. We are more divided than we have ever been. I feel that way. Okay. But to be a part of a company of like 170,000 agents worldwide that are vested in a common goal and have a real incentive to work together and care about each other. I don't know, man. It gives me a little bit of a peace of mind. Okay, that if something bad happens to me, or if a horrible natural disaster happens here in Atlanta, you know, I'm a part of something bigger. Profit share, just to get back to the original question, it's 7 levels. So if I brought you to KW, you'd be on my first level. You bring somebody to KW, they're on my second level, they're on your first level. It goes 7 levels deep. Now, if you are, I don't get into all the specifics, but if you join KW before April 1st of 2020, once you're with KW for 3 years and 1 day, you're vested for the rest of your life. If you join after April 1st, 2020, vesting's now 7 years and 1 day. So it becomes a willable asset that you can will to your kids, your grandkids. And to be honest with you, Lance, I don't have kids, okay? And one day when I die, my profit share is going to an animal sanctuary that I'm going to build in the Caribbean on 5 acres of land that I bought with profit share off of Puerto Rico. But the point is, it's a
I love
willable asset and it's passive. And once a month, it gets deposited into your bank account. And I can't stress enough to you that if you never earn a cent in profit share, we're still the best real estate company to be an agent at.
hmm Definitely. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I love what you're gonna leave your profit share to when you
Yeah.
pass to the
Yep.
animal sanctuary. So highly resonate with that.
Yeah. No doubt, man.
So yeah, tell us a little bit about your class that you teach
Yeah.
nationwide, go market center to market center. It's called the
Yeah, man.
KW effect.
Yeah, so man, I call it affectionately an unfiltered Keller Williams stakeholder meeting. It's a 3-hour class. I do start off with a little disclaimer, and my disclaimer is any opinions or thoughts that I express do not reflect those of Keller Williams International or your leadership. But what an amazing company, right? That allows a disruptor like me to be, to build a class and to teach it over 1,000 times. So what I do is I come in and, I'm a huge, my class is kind of broken up into a couple key concepts. I'm a huge Simon Sinek fan. Okay. The golden circles start with why. So I kind of take them on a journey of my why to Keller Williams' why. And then we talk a little bit of Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, dependent, independent, interdependent. We do a little bit of Robert Kiyosaki. But at the end of the day, what I'm trying to do is make these people understand that they're a stakeholder. Okay. And until they believe that, until their why is solidified around that, they will never be purposeful about profit share. The money never is the driving force behind being purposeful about profit share. People get purposeful about profit share when, one, they're having a high level experience at Keller Williams in their local office. 2, they understand why we're different and they buy into it. Okay. Culture is just a word, Lance. Okay. If you don't come into the office, if you don't teach classes, if you don't share your ideas, if you don't participate in Red Day or donate to KW Cares, culture is just a word. Okay. And my guess is if it's just a word to you, you're going to have profit share breath. Okay. My point is, I get people excited about KW profit share and KW without even talking about the profit share money. I save that for the end, dude. 10 minutes, we talk about how profit share works. The first 2 hours and 50 minutes is making them believe in our why and getting them excited about that, because people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And if I taught a 3-hour profit share class, there would be nobody left in the room when I was done. Okay. So that's the key to our company, Lance, is that we've grown so fast. Growth is messy, dude. And, sometimes you grow so fast that you get into business with people that maybe you shouldn't get into business with, who don't necessarily value the things that you value, that just want to buy a rising brand and run it the way that they want to run it. Okay. But the fact is, I actually believe this is a tipping point for KW, this moment right now. And, I am more than happy to be the point on that spear, because I actually believe what is going to get us back to our true potential. And look, things have been messy the last 5 or 6 years for KW. Remember, when you go from this, from the disruptor, okay, as a company to now the number one company, right?
Mm,
Sometimes you forget what we call your true north, right? I mean, for a long time there, we were so obsessed with being number one in every category that we forgot what got us to where we got to, right?
mhm.
So I believe that KW, that there's no competition for the people that value what we value when we are delivering on our culture at the highest level. And that starts with profit share. If your office is not profitable, I'm sorry, you're not delivering on our culture. And I'm just going to go Mo Anderson on you because I love Mo Anderson. I'm sorry. By the way, you're the ones that taught me, Mo and Gary. You guys, I always told Gary, dude, you created me, dude. You created me. You told me to think big, to treat profit share like a business, right? You created me. And so, Mo Anderson, you created me too. And here's what Mo Anderson says: if you're not profitable, you're out of culture.
Mm,
Okay. So I'll just tell you right now, I don't know, 25, 30% of our market centers were not profitable last year. Okay. And yeah, they're out of culture because don't you think, Lance, agents need profit share more in a down market than an up market? Yeah. They
absolutely.
need culture more in a down market than an up market. God, when the market's crushing it, I mean, people don't care about culture as much, right? I'm just saying this is a tipping point, and I believe that we need to be careful about not changing who we are. I know we love our technology platform and we are all about tech, 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 but I'm telling you right now, tech ain't going to save Keller Williams. Sorry. Culture will, though. And we need to make sure that we take a moment to reflect on what we are becoming. Now, look, you can't have legacy, like Gary said, you can't have legacy thinking. Look, the industry has changed. I get it. Okay. Was behind some of these policy changes that happen. I understand that this interdependent model doesn't work unless it's a business worth owning for our franchise owners. I get that. But it's not much of a franchise to own if you don't have any agents in that franchise because you're not delivering on our value. So we got to get back to what got us here. Yes, things have changed, but I still think we're the best version of ourselves with a robust profit sharing system that is the catalyst for our unique culture.
Absolutely, 100%. And you said what the moment we're in now, like this is a pivotal no moment,
Yes.
not
Yeah.
for KW, but the real estate industry as a
Yeah.
whole. So how do you think KW can best maximize this moment?
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, look, and Gary, I trust, and I know, people love to say, hey, this dude over here with this company's the next Gary Keller. No, he's not. Okay. No, he's not. I mean, Gary's got a 40+ year track record for being the agent advocate for the entire industry. And yeah, you know what? He is reinventing our company. He has to, okay? Because the industry has changed, all right? Now what are we are going to, now what we're trying to do, Lance, is that we're trying to build proprietary tech, right? And Gary talks about the fourth industrial revolution. It's about big data, it's about AI, it's about building your own proprietary tech and innovating on top of it in real time versus trying to bolt together third-party tech, which all of our competition is doing. But here's the thing about KW. Building your own tech is slow. It's messy. And have we hit every mark? No. Okay. Does our tech and command have tons of evolving to do? Absolutely. But when you take a step back and you look, okay, the majority of our competition, Lance, are publicly traded companies. Okay. They're publicly traded companies. I'm sorry. If you're a part of a publicly traded company, who do you think cares more about the future of the real estate agent? Shareholders or agent stakeholders, right? So we are building our own proprietary tech. It's one of the reasons it's the reason we just partnered with Stone Point Capital. Look, you cannot beat Zillow with one billionaire. Okay. It takes money. It takes data. Stone Point doesn't just have a ton of money. They own real estate data companies. I mean, we're in the data. This is the data moment, dude. And Gary says it all the time. Whoever can provide the consumer with the most insights and the best price offer is going to win. Okay. So we can't do that unless we own our own technology. Okay. And, what makes our tech so much different is that our goal, obviously, as an agent centric company led by the most agent centric leader in our industry, is that we're going to do it by putting the agent at the center of the transaction. Okay. And build the tech to help them out Zillow. Because at the end of the day, Lance, if you think about it, okay, first of all, unfortunately, the bar to be a real estate agent is way too low. Okay. There's a reason Zillow and Open Door exist, is that a lot of agents that consumers deal with are hacks. Okay. And they don't see the value in paying an agent who's just going to stick a sign in a yard and who doesn't return phone calls and emails. Okay. Doesn't know market knowledge. Okay. So we have allowed this to happen. Okay. But we believe that a highly trained local fiduciary agent backed by proprietary tech with the most data and the most and by the way, when you're the number one real estate company on the planet, you have the most data, you have the most agents, okay, under one brand. You add Stone Point Capital's money and their data. We're on a trajectory, Lance. And by the way, yes, I get it. It's messy. And by the way, in a shifting market, with tech that's having a hard time delivering on some of the promises that were made, and all these new flashy objects out there that are price driven. I get it, man. Agents are independent by nature. And if someone wants to pay them more money or promote some system that they can make more money that doesn't take into account profitability, I get it, especially when KW offices, some of them are not delivering. But when you take a step back and you understand the direction of KW, and here's what I love. You know how I talked about dependent, independent, interdependent?
Mhm.
Well, someone asked me once, they said, what's the next evolution of our industry? And here's what I say. We're already the next evolution because KW is now a consumer centric, agent driven technology company now that's building the preferred real estate platform for the interdependent, the independent, and the dependent agent to do business at. Our competition, Lance, the majority of them are playing the agent game. Dude, rev share is an agent model.
Mhm.
Writing checks is an agent model. 100% commission with a transaction fee, that's an agent model. We've already moved on to the consumer model. Okay. And yeah, it's hard for us to, a lot of our agents to see that when they're just trying to survive in this industry. I get it, dude. But ultimately, we're playing the long game, dude. And, just to quote Simon Sinek again, read his last book called The Infinite Game. Okay. There's only one real estate company playing the infinite game in real estate. Okay. And that's Keller Williams. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
love it. I'm so fired up, and I'm trying to get you out here in the California
Mm,
region, but it's hard for leadership
yeah.
to
Yeah.
talk
I get it.
about share. And a lot of their thing. What would you say to this? A lot of them say, "Oh, well, we're not profitable.
Oh,
I
God.
want
I
to
haven't heard
teach
that one.
profit share."
I mean, how many different ways can I slice this? Let's see. What do we tell agents who say, I can't afford to attend training? What do we tend to tell them? You can't afford not to. Okay. The reason you're not profitable is because you're not following the models and your agents don't care about the profitability of your market center. They don't buy into the culture. So guess what? If you don't paint a vision for it, how the hell are you ever going to be profitable? All right. And like I said before, Lance, I teach the same class in a market center that's not profitable as I do with the most profitable ones. And to be honest with you, seriously, I get more energy out of the market centers that are not the agents that attend my class because I'm the only one that they've ever met that is painting a vision for what it could be. And to ignore it or to not talk about it or to, God forbid, deliberately not be profitable for whatever stupid reasons, you play stupid games, you get stupid prizes. Okay. The bottom line is you can't afford it because you're not following the models. And you can't tell me that the model is the issue when we have offices in Atlanta that every year give back almost $1 million in profit share. It's not the model. The one thing about the model that is imperfect is the human element. Okay. And if you don't have the right people in place, and by the way, I say this all the time, it's not just ownership, it's leadership. It's agents. It takes a village, brother. And if it starts at the top, obviously if the vision's not being casted, the agents are not going to buy into it. But I think people need to ask themselves, why did we buy this franchise? Did we just, I mean, if you don't value profit share, why did you buy a KW franchise? I really still don't understand that one. But whatever, that's not my lane. I'm just going to continue to be the squeaky wheel who says, look, there's a better way to do it. And you don't need to look that far to find role models in this company that are doing it at the high level. And I just actually posted today in that group because I saw somebody who was a quote unquote leader at KW, a regional leader who has left KW. By the way, he came from a virtual company to KW. I always knew because he had made comments about rev share to me when he was running a region, but he just recently left KW. And then I just saw on his Facebook page, he's doing a whole video about how the KW, the traditional KW model is franchise model is broken. And I always laugh when I see that. When I see a leader at KW who has left KW and gone to a virtual company or 100% company talking about our model, that it doesn't work, when they never followed the model when they were here. I mean, I'm sorry. It's like,
Counterfeit. Huh.
and you know, dude, I'm a big football fan, and this is when I start getting people getting pissed off at me, and I'm sorry. I really, I'm coming from a place of love. I want everybody to live so abundantly within the KW ecosystem. But you know, Bill Parcells said it best, dude. You are what your record says you are.
Mhm.
Sorry, you are what your profit share says you are, plain and simple. And I don't care what the market is. I mean, Lance, you know any agents that are having the best years of their career in this down market? You know, I mean, customers need great agents in a down market, and great agents need a market center that provides value in a down market. It's just that simple.
Mhm.
So don't chase the price because we ain't going to win that. We ain't going to win it, dude. And that doesn't create a stakeholder mindset. That doesn't galvanize agents to grow your market center and to care about other agents. It basically is a bribe that another company that will come along who, you know, is going to have more money or a better price offer that they're going to be loyal to. And I just think that when we're doing us at the highest level, look, we don't need to be in business with every agent. Okay. We just
Mhm.
need to be in business with the agents that value what we value. Not every agent values culture. Not every agent values community and purpose and fighting for the future of their industry. That's fine. We don't need to be in business with all of you. We need to be in business with the people that value what we value. All right.
Definitely. Good points. And to add on to that, I would say any agent that is in a non-profitable market center, you don't you could recruit or build your profit share tree in any of the 800 plus market centers nationwide, any of the 50 plus countries that KW
Yes.
is in nationwide. So even if you're like, I'm in Los Angeles now, it's not very profitable, but I do recruit to more
Yeah.
profitable market centers.
Yeah.
So that's
And let
one
me
thing.
add to that, Lance. Let me add
Yeah.
to that. First of all, you mentioned countries, just so we all know, outside of North America, we're in 50 plus countries. It's called gross share.
Mhm.
It's actually revenue share internationally. North America is profit share. Okay. It's only international is gross share because it's the only platform that would work for all these different countries and the way that they work. But here's what I'm going to say. You're 100% right. The world is your oyster, right, man? You're not limited by your geographic a location or your relationships. I mean, I sponsored at the time the most people in the history of Keller Williams, and I did it in 300 different market centers with no relationships. Okay, but here's what my challenge is, Lance: be a part of the positive change in your market center, because the truth is Keller Williams is buying back market centers. They are switching over leaderships and regions. Market centers that have historically not been very profitable or run out of model, they will come back. And if you can be a part of the change, if you can be a catalyst for change and a beacon of culture, my guess is when that market center comes back, you're going to reap the benefits of that. So, and part of that is also, Lance, yes, it's great to recruit to other market centers, but if you're not taking ownership of your market center, if you're not thinking like a stakeholder, the money's never going to be enough. No
Mm.
matter where you recruit, it will never be enough to sustain your efforts. You have to believe. You have to act like a stakeholder. You have to think like a stakeholder. You got to teach classes. You got to share ideas. You got to seek out knowledge and referrals. You got to participate in our culture because ultimately, I mean, dude, you know how long I've been talking about this stuff for? Okay.
Me plus
Do
you.
I sound like I mean, literally, do I sound like I'm being disingenuous right now? I mean,
No.
I believe what I'm talking about, and people tend to resonate with that. Okay, that's why I do focus on the model because the human element drives me crazy sometimes. But you know, people always say to me, Lance, they say, "Man, thank you, dude, for all you do to grow KW." And I'm like, listen. I got a huge financial investment in this company. I'm just taking ownership of it. Maybe you should do the same. And so I challenge people that if you are in a market center that needs to be, a little kick in the butt and needs to turn around, be a part of the positive change. Okay. Now, if you find yourself in a market center that doesn't value that kind of stuff, then you can move. I mean, there's a lot of market centers in LA. Okay. I try to align myself with people that value the KW model. But ultimately, if you're not willing to fight for your own market center, I don't think you're going to have a lot of success recruiting to other market centers.
Hmm. Definitely. Yeah. So let's talk about some of your profit share.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah. What's
I'm about to break through the $1 million profit share earning mark. Took a little bit longer than I would have expected. And I want to keep in mind, guys, I just want to be very clear here. I sponsor predominantly brand new agents to KW. I mean, like 99% brand new agents off the internet. I grossly underestimated how many new agents it would take, okay, to equal one experienced agent. I will tell you, Lance, after sponsoring 400 brand new agents to KW, 18, 20 years later, I got 25 left. Now, the 25 left are mega agents and team leaders and people like Liz Landry that runs KW Talent and all this stuff. And they've brought on people. Look, new agents attract new agents, but new agents become experienced agents and experienced agents attract experienced agents. So first thing I want to be clear is that I brought in new agents. You could go out and attract 20 very experienced agents to KW, and in a couple of years, you'll be making the same amount of money as me. Okay. So that's the first thing. The second thing that we talked about before this call was that I didn't understand the franchise model of Keller Williams. So I ran a national recruiting campaign. And every month when I get my profit share statement, my downline's in 300 KW offices. If they were in Atlanta, all of them, I'd be earned well over $10 million in profit share. Unfortunately, a large portion of the market centers that my downline are in are not very profitable or not profitable. But
Mhm.
even with all of that, I'm about to pass through the $1 million profit share mark. Now, I will tell you this. In 21, I had my best year, made $90,000 in profit share. The market crashed and it's gone down and down and down. And this year I'll probably make 30K. Okay. But here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to quote one of my favorite quotes in KW, which is from Jimmy McKissick. And by the way, the McKissicks, Linda and Jimmy McKissicks, who are icons of KW, seventh level agents. They own, they make $1 million a year passively off their real estate team. They make $1 million passively off the real estate they own,
Mhm.
and they've made over $16 million in profit share. And Jimmy McKissick once said, and I put my spin on it. I've kind of made his quote into mine, but I've added a little humor to it. But he basically said, the best investment Linda and I ever made was in KW profit share. And nobody ever called me about a busted toilet. Okay. So the point is, yeah, it's 30K. Did I think it would be 300K by now? Sure, I did. Okay. I didn't know the industry was under assault. I was an idealist. I didn't understand the franchise model. I didn't understand anything. I was just freaking recruiting whoever I could recruit. Okay. But I share this with people, and like, I mean, there are things that I did wrong that I want people to learn from. But I've still made over $1 million in profit share. I bought 5 acres of land on a little island in the Caribbean with profit share on a little island called Culebra. I don't have kids. Okay. I'm not saying 30 grand is enough money to retire off of, but guys, we're in one of the worst real estate markets in the history of real estate. Okay. The market's going to come back. Profit share is going to grow. And I will tell you this, Lance, the agents that I have in my downline that have survived this shift, it's just like what happened last shift. The ones that survived are going to be the leaders of our industry for many years to come. And once this market comes back and all the pretenders have dropped out of the industry, the ones that are left are going to be the ones that grow my downline for the next 50 years. All right. So, I made a million, and I want to be clear, and I don't want to go too deep into it, but one of the things that I did, Lance, was that when I started to teach my class back in '08 and '09, I stopped recruiting. I mean, I was burned out, but I started teaching the people that I brought into KW how to do it. And somebody I brought to KW did it a lot better than me. And so I think the important message here when you're talking about the money is that I make 80% of my money off my second through fifth levels.
Mhm.
There is nobody at KW that makes the majority of their money off their second through fifth levels. The majority make their money off their first level or off their sixth and seventh level. Linda and Jimmy McKissick have 33 people on their first level and 10,000 people in their tree. They make 80% of their profit share money off of their lower levels. So the saying goes, if you build it wide, time will take it deep. Now, was this 20 years ago? No. Does KW have more challenges? Absolutely. But I'm confident in the direction of KW that as we emerge from this shift, KW, who has gone through some bumpy moments over the last 5 or 6 years, has made some corrections, and we're going to emerge from this shift a much stronger real estate company. And when profit share hopefully kicks back up, hopefully people will have had the foresight to understand that that's when we're going to really start to take off as a company because our culture will go nuclear because people will understand why we're different. So it was never about the money for me. Ultimately, am I where I thought I would be 20 years later? No, but it's been a hell of a ride. I've the things that the opportunities I've been given, the places I've been, all as a result of being purposeful about profit share. My life, I wouldn't change a thing, dude. Like I said, I met my wife because of the shift. And if it wasn't for that moment, I wouldn't be where I am today. So, um, yeah, man, I'm not going to sit here and tell people, you can make $1 million in 5 years in profit share. No, this is the long game. This is your retirement plan. This is your legacy. Okay. Um, but I can tell you of many people that have sponsored one or two people that ended up sponsoring someone who opened up a country or opened up a market center or brought on a mega agent or knew somebody. You never, every recruit's a lottery ticket, Lance. And we were all brand new agents at one point. And I think that's something to remember. You were too. And I know you're a very successful agent. And I'm sure your sponsor is thrilled that they sponsored you and that you sponsored 65 people, basically, right underneath them. So it takes faith. I always tell people, Lance, there's no column on the return on investment section of a profit share spreadsheet for faith,
Mhm.
right? I mean, you got to believe, and sometimes it might not live up to your belief, but you got to think big. You got to have hairy, audacious goals that people laugh at. And if I wasn't thinking as big as I thought, I would have given up a long time ago. You know, so it's a challenge right now. I mean, believe me, it's a challenge to be the profit share driver for KW in
And
this moment. In this moment, it's tough, but hopefully people see that I'm just as committed as ever, you know?
no, 100%. And seeing your passion and your commitment
Yeah.
helps me maintain mine. Like, I'm not,
Mm,
I know we're in a down market and I focus a lot on new agents as well.
yeah.
So I
Yeah.
agents off, but I'm
Sure.
not losing faith. Like you
Right.
mentioned earlier, Simon Sinek, the
Yeah.
infinite game. Like I see
Yeah.
I believe in it. I've experienced the culture. I love it. So I
Well,
know.
and Lance, let's get real, man. Like when you attract people to KW, I mean, don't you want to believe you're giving them the best chance to be successful as an agent first? Right?
Mhm.
So that's where it starts with the training, the support, the culture, right? Profitability is secondary, even though it's a business. Okay. I'm just saying, if people, there were times I mean, dude, my buddy brought, a certain virtual company to Georgia. And there was a time back in the day when their share was 17 cents. Okay. And yeah, if I look back and I had made the switch back then, I probably would be on a yacht right now. And I get it. Okay. But here's the thing. And I say this all the time, that model wasn't enough to inspire me. I'm not saying it's not a good way to make money. Okay. I just was not inspired by it. And, maybe I'm a sucker. I don't know, man. But for me, when I know that I'm helping people be the best agent they can be, the money will come from that. I'm not driven by, hey, I'm going to steer this agent to this other market center that's an hour across the town so that I can make more profit share
Mhm.
off of them. Although it might be a reflection of the value of that market center. So, I'm more than happy to set up an interview with both of these market centers, but it's their decision to see which one they like. But I'm not deliberately steering people so that I earn the most profit share off of them. I'm trying to give them the best chance to be successful, you know?
Definitely. And you've done a lot of the upfront work and all the heavy lifting. And you're at a point now where you could stop and it's just going to continue to
Sure.
grow and grow.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't recruit anymore myself, to
Yeah.
be
And I
honest
know
with you.
also in your
Outside of
in line, you have
Yeah,
someone who
yeah,
was the number one growth partner like 5 or 6, 7 years in a row or something.
yeah. Oh, dude, 12 years, but it's
Oh,
okay. No,
yeah.
no, I mean,
Wow.
and once again, I mean, I'll give you a great idea. I mean, great look at this. Brent Mitchell's his name, and I owe him so much for what he's done and what he continues to do. But the dude has sponsored like 2,500 brand new agents to KW.
Hmm.
Right now, he's got less than 200 left. Now, do you know anybody with 200 people in their first level? No. But
Well,
I'm saying he had to sponsor 2,500 over 12 years to find, to have 200 that stuck. I mean, look, new agents are the low hanging fruit. I mean, I'm not recruiting them. They're coming to me and they're
mhm.
saying, thank you. Okay. Like I'm not banging the phone telling people they need to join KW, although I've was on a growth team for a period of time. But the point is, people got to ask themselves lead generation strategy. The same thing applies in real estate.
Mhm.
What lead generation strategy is a fit for your personality, but more importantly, is sustainable over time. Okay. At the end of the day, I'm a teacher. Okay. So I enjoyed new agents for many reasons, recruiting them. But at the end of the day, I wanted to have a conversation with them that I wish somebody had had with me when I had my license in my hand. And honestly, I get fulfillment out of that conversation. I mean, dude, I'm half leads, listings, and leverage, and the other half is why, how, what is KW? How is KW different? It's not join KW. Okay, it's do you value what I'm saying? By the way, if you don't want to, in the past, if you didn't want to be a business owner, if you didn't want to generate your own leads, I'd be like, dude, you're going to hate Keller Williams, okay? Because we don't give you leads. We're at the time, right? We were company for business owners type agents. Right now, we have with the teams are everywhere, so there are dependent opportunities in KW now through teams and other ways. But my point is, my goal was always, I would even start my conversations off with, look, I'm not here to convince you to join KW. I want to educate you so that you can make the best decision for yourself. And I would really hope that all the agents that listen to this call, that's how they operate their real estate business. Are you representing the transaction or are you looking out for your client's best interests? Right. So
Definitely.
when you have that mindset, you win every time. Right. Yeah.
Well, perfect. I want to ask you one more thing before we wrap it up.
Yeah.
So when I first joined KW, Mark King was still the team leader, or actually, no, this was a few years after he was the president
Ryan Leverett.
of KW.
Yeah.
And they said this thing that really stood out to me. I don't know if it still rings true today, so I'd love your opinion. But what he said at the time, there was over 100 people at Keller Williams that have made $1 million or more in profit share. And what they did, they studied all those 100 people to try to find, on average, like the commonalities. And what they found was, on average, these people directly sponsored on, I think it was 26 agents to their first level, and on average, 15 stayed. And that equated to $1 million profit share tree. However, it takes 20, 30 years. Do you think that still holds true today?
Nah, probably not as much, but I mean, it depends on. I mean, first of all, one of my favorite sayings, Lance, is there's lies, there's damn lies, and then there's stats. Okay, so I'm not saying those stats were not true at the time. Okay. But this is time. This is a different time. Okay. KW is not this emerging company with no competition that's taking over the industry. And if you brought 15 influential agents or people to KW, that would have led, the saying was you get 15 and help them add 15 each, right? That's the concept. Okay. It's good. I mean, right now, that's certainly not the case with the state of KW profit share right now. But I'm just saying, you know, that's why I try to overkill it, right? Like, who cares what the number, who cares what that was 10, 15 years ago? The bottom line is, how many of you sponsored, right? Like today?
Mhm.
Because are you waiting? Because I get all these people all the time, dude, these analytical people that are like, hey, man, hey, what's the average recruit worth at KW? And I'm
Yeah.
like, I mean, this is what recruits used to say to me. What does the average agent make? Okay, are you average? Because the average agent sells one house a year. Okay.
Mhm.
Let's get real. The average KW agent is a quarter capper at best, right? I mean, you get what it's the 80-20 rule, brother. Okay. I mean, the average KW agent sells probably 3 to 5 houses a year. Okay. Now, the good news for us is we have a cap model, and it doesn't take a lot of houses to sell in LA to cap. Okay. Because of your price point. But my point is this. I don't think that applies exactly to that whatever that thing was, that thing that they did 10, 15 years back, because times have changed. Market centers, I mean, right now we're in a down market. I mean, the future is not as clear as it was 20 years ago. But do you want to wait until everything lines up so that you can decide that you're going to be purposeful about it? Because here's the point. How do you really calculate return on investment for profit share? How can I calculate what the return on investment from Brett Mitchell will be when I will be earning profit share for decades after I'm dead? Am I going to come back from the grave and try to calculate what my legacy was after I died? I mean, the point is, stop wasting your time trying to calculate it. Okay. Every recruit's a freaking lottery ticket. If you don't play, you'll never find out. And by the way, the people that sit there and try to calculate their return on investment usually never get off their butts and do anything. So the bottom line is, no, who knows? Who knows what, if you go sponsor 26 people, who knows? If they're 26 brand new agents in 5 years, 2 of them will probably be still in the business. Okay. Now,
Mhm.
that's not a KW thing. That's a new agent thing.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm just saying, you'll never be able to calculate return on investment because every recruit's a lottery ticket. You can never predict who they become, who they might attract. Look, my sponsor sponsored one person. That's me. And at the time, I was a very mediocre Caldwell Banker agent. Okay. How could she have ever imagined what I would have become at KW? So there's no point in making any proclamations for what X amount of recruits at X on X level equal, because not every KW office is created equal. You don't know who somebody's going to sponsor and who they might sponsor and who they might sponsor. So
Mhm.
sorry, guys, you're going to have faith. And that faith usually starts with plugging into the model systems and culture of KW. Once you, as my good friend Barry Paley once said, you got to get into the river, man. You got to get into the Keller Williams River and soak yourself in the river, because that's what drives people to attract people to KW. And then when the smoke clears, it is what it is, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah, I don't make any promises of anything because I was told the same thing, dude, and I freaking crushed it 1,000 times over. And I'm not making what was told I would be making, and that's okay. Have had a wonderful life, and I have a great future with profit share, and I wouldn't change a thing. I mean, outside of a couple of things that I would change with with the franchise model. But the point is, um, you know, you shoot for, what's the saying? You shoot for the moon, and if you miss, you land with the stars. I mean, I had big dreams, dude, and those big dreams, and that drove me to put the work in and to inspire people that I brought in to do it. And when it's all said and done, I gave it everything I got, and it is what it is. And so there's no promises of that. You have to believe in it.
Definitely. Yeah, and I still believe. I still have
Yeah,
faith, and I'm
of
not gonna
course.
yeah, so but
I mean,
yeah,
at the end of the day, man, you're helping people, right? I mean, right, that's what
exactly,
it comes down to.
exactly.
If I was driven by the money, dude, I would have given up back in '08. Like, seriously, okay? I'm just telling you, you gotta be driven by something bigger. You gotta have a why that's bigger than just what your next profit share check is gonna be.
And
Because
that's exactly it. I'm a product of KW. I believe in the mission. I've learned so much from KW. And like you said,
yeah,
it's who you become. Like I went to college for a business and marketing degree. I learned more about business and marketing at like 2 months at Keller Williams than I
yeah,
college. Like KW is like I call it like an MBA. Like you learn the best.
dude,
You become
100%.
you.
And look, like I said before, I mean, I used to be terrified of public speaking. Now I freaking you've
Yeah.
seen me speak, dude. I
Yeah.
freaking crushed it. But I'm just saying that I never would have thought, right? Like that would have been a byproduct of the journey that I've been on at KW. And so, I always tell people that I don't have another real estate company in me and not the best negotiating strategy with Keller Williams, but um, this is it, dude, right? Like this, I'm all in. I've always been all in. There's not another company out there that is going to inspire me to put the effort that I put into doing this. I'm also, I'm getting old, dude. Like this is it. This is it. But what I want to do is I want to galvanize the other agents, the 140, 50,000 agents in North America, to start thinking like a stakeholder and start growing their market centers so that what I've done will have an exponential return. And
Mhm.
so I'm trying to succeed through others. And, I just can't do this on my own, brother. And that's why I appreciate you so much for reaching out to me. And because honestly, Lance, this invigorates me just as much as it invigorates you. I mean, I'm telling you, I've never been more concerned about the energy around profit share than I am these days. And so when I go teach a class and people show up and they show me that they still care and that they're hearing my message, right? Like that lifts me up at a time when sometimes I'm questioning what I'm doing because I don't always see the results. So yeah, man, that's the deal. Just trying to be the point on the profit share spear, you know?
Awesome. I love it. So if people are interested and they're hyped up after this, what are the best ways? The Facebook group
Yep.
and so the
Yeah,
Facebook
so the Facebook group's called Profit Share Mastermind KW. It's a KW only group, even though we got a lot of creepers still in there that have left our company and like to hide out in the shadows. I'm doing my best to remove those people, but it's a KW only group. So Profit Share Mastermind KW, that's where you can see everything that I got to say about profit share. I try to keep my personal page personal, but you can send me a message through Facebook. You can email me at akaufman@KW. You can call me, text me at 404-216-7310. I am actually one of those people that gets every email, gets every text, gets every phone call, every Facebook message, and I actually respond to everybody quickly. So, anyways, if you want to find out more, I mean, I'm here. I mean, especially if you're with KW, I would love nothing more than to light a fire under your butt and get you out there to grow this company that I'm highly invested in.
absolutely. And then if you're a team leader, leadership or ownership, reach out to him about his class, the KW effect.
Yeah, and Lance, I mean, here's how I look at it. It ain't an expense, brother. It's an investment. I mean,
Hmm.
think about it, man. If all I do is inspire one person to go sponsor one capper, pretty sure the investment in getting me there will pay itself off many times over. So when people tell me they can't afford it, I mean, come on, are we Keller Williams or what, dude? Like you can't not afford it to do it. Okay. I think that was a double negative, but you get the point. Okay. I promise you, I am you get me in front of your people. And by the way, that's another thing here, Lance. Don't bring me to your office if leadership's not going to be in the room and ALC's not going to be in the room, because then you definitely ain't going to get your return on investment. Okay. But if you get me in front of your top agents, your leadership, by the way, your staff members, right, all the way to agent services coordinator, all these people that are onboarding agents without talking about profit share, you get me in front of your 30, 50, 70 of your agents. Let me tell you something. It'll be the best investment you make in your market center's profitability, culture, and growth. I promise you that. And honestly, I'm pretty freaking cheap, dude. I'm pretty cheap. I'm high volume, dude. I would love to be on the road every day teaching a class. But for whatever reason, this is looking like the slowest year in a long time for my teaching. And I would have thought in this moment my message would be more valuable. But, you know, scarcity versus abundance.
Hmm. Well, I'm gonna try very. We're gonna get you out in California.
Dude, I've been out. I mean, I know I've been out to California. I just haven't been out there in a long time. And, I got to get my diamond status this year. I'm getting a little nervous. I'm losing my Delta diamond status because I'm not flying out to the West Coast enough. But yeah, love to make a little West Coast trip. I was just out there recently. I think it was Palmdale or something like that. But yeah, man, LA needs some KW effect. There ain't no question about that
Hmm.
for sure.
We will make it happen. I'm
Yeah,
confident.
I know you will. It's all good.
Awesome. Well, cool. I don't know if you remember, but I wrap up every podcast with a joke off. So do you have a joke?
I have a joke. I'm not a joke teller. I'm more of a storyteller with jokes, but I did come up with one for you. All right.
Awesome.
And so, when people ask me how many agents work at your brokerage, my answer is about half of them. And I think that's a stretch, to be honest with you. Should say
That's good.
20%, but that's my joke.
That is funny. I love that.
Yeah.
That's very
And I
funny.
don't have any dad jokes. I mean, I'm a cat dad, but that's the best I can do with a dad joke.
I got a dad joke for you. I'm not a dad either. I love, I don't have any dogs right now, but I was a big dog person. But I just love corny dad jokes. So
Yeah.
here, why did the computer catch a cold?
Why?
Because it left its windows open.
Ah, yes, that is a classic dad joke. Yeah, I love it. I love it, man. Well, I look forward to posting this in the Profit Share Mastermind group. I hope you'll send
Awesome.
me a link to it. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I'll send you a link to it. I'll add all of your information in
Great.
the show
Great.
note. And this yeah, I'll tell you more info about that. But yeah, that's a wrap. Thank you so much. This was a
Yeah,
blast.
brother.